guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Yasmine, and if you're not, hi, welcome back. Today's video is another favorites video. I'm going to be talking favorites in fashion, favorites in entertainment, and favorites in lifestyle in general, in that order. For entertainment, I'm going to be talking about books, movies, and music. And for our last section, I'm going to be throwing in every lifestyle thing that I like, so it can range from keychains to figurines. It's really gonna be a little random. The first thing I wanted to talk about in fashion is definitely large earrings. I liked when there was this whole maximalist trend of jewelry where we were seeing more chunkier pieces of jewelry. I started wearing my natural hair more, and I decided I wanted to go on a natural hair journey and wanted to wear extensions less. And I think my look is really completed with a big pair of earrings. Since my natural hair is short, I feel like bigger earrings just accentuate my face for some reason. I feel like since they hang a little low too, I think they go with a lot of natural hairstyles as well. I don't know, I feel like just short hair and big jewelry, they go well together. The second thing I want to talk about is not really fashion related, not exactly fashion related, but I feel like I could still put it in this category, and it's West African henna. So if you don't know, I was born in England. Yes, I spent 6 years in England, but I am Ivorian, which means I'm West African. Fun fact, I did in fact live in Ivory Coast. I lived in Abidjan with my mother's side of the family for like 6 years, and I cannot wait to go back. I haven't gone back in years, and recently I've been trying to learn more about my own culture and ethnic groups in Ivory Coast. West African henna designs are not too different from the henna designs that we usually see for hands, but one thing that I really like about them is how they go around your fingers. I wanted to try it out, but I am really worried they might see it's unprofessional for college. I don't know. I'm gonna try it on anyways, so if in my next video you see me with a West African henna design, don't ask questions. Next thing in fashion that I really like, my Mary Janes. I got myself a pair of Mary Janes for the fall, and as you guys can tell from the way I'm smiling, I really like them. They're one of my best purchases of the year. They have the little heel, and guys, I promise you, when you walk, they make a little click sound. The sound that heels make when you walk, they make the exact same sound. Love them so much. I didn't get them last year because last year they were really trendy, and I was worried that once the trend was over, I wasn't gonna like them as much anymore. And I did tell you guys that for most trends, for a lot of trends, you can just wait till it dies down a little to see if you actually like it, because chances are you're gonna regret buying them. But I absolutely do not regret buying my Mary Janes. They were definitely worth the wait because I love them so much, and I feel like they match a lot of the outfits I make a lot. I think I'm gonna make a video styling them. Modest looks with maxi skirts and looser tops, looser sleeves. I don't know. I feel like it's just been a thing that I've been liking since last year fall. There's this creator that I follow on Instagram, dollar euro yen. I really love her outfits. I like the way she layers her clothing pieces. Another creator that I like that kind of has this style is Darine Beer. She's a YouTuber as well as a content creator on Instagram. She has a lot of outfits that I really like because of how minimalistic they look. There are a lot of grays, blacks, and whites, and even though I don't dress that way, I am drawn towards that type of clothing. Another thing I've really been liking, and I think it has to do with the fact I'm trying to learn more about West African culture since it is my culture, it's traditional clothing, and I feel like that's why I've kind of been liking looser clothing pieces. There's this one traditional clothing piece that's called a bubu, and it's really large and so comfortable. I think Nigerian people call them muumuus. I really like them. I love them. My grandma bought me one, and she brought it over. She came all the way from Ivory Coast, and she got us little gifts, including my boo-boo, and I am so happy to have one. I don't know, it just makes me feel more connected to my country, and since it's been such a long time since I've been to Ivory Coast, I really miss it. I'm not feeling insanely homesick, but it's just like, it hits me with like a wave every single time. I don't know, feeling homesick is not linear anyways, so lately I've been feeling it more, and I feel like that clothing piece just brought me a little peace. Let's move on to entertainment. I'm going to do books, then movies, and then music. Starting off with books, I have some of the books that I read in September and some books that I just really wanted to talk about that I read a while ago. And for this one, I'm going to put my glasses back on. I don't know when was the last time I actually filmed a video with my glasses on, but I need them to see sometimes, especially when I read. The first book I'm going to be talking about is The Stranger by Albert Camus. If you've never heard of The Stranger, it's basically about this main character that goes about his life in a very nonchalant way. He seems indifferent to a lot of things, the main thing being the death of his mother. In the beginning of the book, we have the first few lines that is literally, "Mom passed away," or maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember. And those first few lines, if they don't manage to throw you off, the way this man acts throughout the book will in fact throw you off. At some point in the book, his lover, whose name is Mary, asks him if he loves her. And his response was, "Elle m'a demandé si je l'aimais, je lui ai répondu que cela ne voulait rien dire, mais qu'il me semblait que non." If this man was my situationship, that would have been the end. But at some point in the book, Merceau, which is the main character, goes through a very tragic event which completely switches his life. His day-to-day was pretty mundane, and now it turns from mundane to it's a little more active, and he starts missing his mundane life, even though he was a little nonchalant about it in the beginning of the book. And the way he breaks character nearing the end is very interesting to see, especially from a character like him. A lot of people complain about the fact that he is weird and annoying, but once you read the end of the book, if you still don't like him with the way the book ends, I don't know when you're gonna like him. You probably never will. The second book I wanted to talk about is 24 heures de la vie d'une femme by Stefan Zweig. This book follows two characters really, and a few side characters that are only spoken about in the beginning of the book, and then in the second half of the book, nothing about them anymore. In the first half of the book, it's set in a hotel, and in this hotel there are multiple residents, and within the residents there's a family of four. A husband, a wife, and their two kids. On a random day, a young man comes to the hotel, and he's very handsome, he's such a gentleman, and a lot of people they're really swooning over him, and the wife of this family also kind of swoons over him. He disappears from the hotel, and everyone is worried, sick. Her husband is the one that's the most affected, obviously, and at some point he tells everyone to stop the search because he found a letter in his hotel room, which was actually her telling him to move on with his life because she ran away with the young man. After this happens, a lot of people are very judgmental of this woman's choice to just run off with a man that she barely even knows. And there's one character who we're going to be calling Antonio for the sake of him not having a name in the book. Antonio is the only one who doesn't judge her at all and even defends her a lot in this book. And another character is very intrigued by Antonio's choice to defend this woman instead of being as judgmental as everyone else. And it's an older woman, and her name is Mrs. C. Mrs. C is this older woman, and she basically has a story of her own that's similar to the first woman's story in the book, and she asks Antonio if she can talk about this story with him because she knows that he won't judge her, and she knows that he's going to be leaving soon, so she's even more comfortable with talking about this story with him. And I'm not going to spoil what she tells him, but it's very endearing to read. I feel like Mrs. C is a character that you can meet in your everyday life because she's just this older woman that has a lot of stories to tell that relate to stories that younger that used to be her age are talking about and living through. I think I put a 3.5 stars out of 5 on this book. I would recommend it if you're looking for a simple read and a coming of age book that's told from the perspective of someone that is a little older. If the lighting gets worse, don't worry, it's just because it's getting late. Next book I want to talk about is Reine de Cœur by Akira Mizubayashi, and this book follows four main characters. The two first main characters pass away, and we already know this from the beginning of the book. This book is about two lovers that find each other during the war that happened, before the war between Japan and China, and they are forced to move away from each other because the main male lead is Japanese, so he has to go back and fight the war, while his French wife stays in France away from the war, well, at least tries her best to stay away from the war. And basically, we start off with their story and we switch to their great grandchildren. Their great grandchildren don't know each other because, complete spoilers here, the man, his name is Jun, stays in Japan after the war, but while he stays in Japan, he falls in love with the nurse that was taking care of him. He has a few children with her, and those children have children. And his first wife never really gets with him, and Anne has a kid of her own that also has a child. You see where this is going? Two complete faraway branches, but they end up going back together because Anne's daughter, forgot the name of her daughter, but her daughter's daughter, her name is Marie Mizune. Marie Mizune ends up reading this book that reminds her of the story of her grandparents, so she decides to find the author of this book, and she does find him, and she's like, hey, would you like to meet up? Because I feel like your grandfather might be my grandfather. And they're like, oh, word, let's meet up. When they meet up, they exchange on what they know about each other's grandparents, and they find out that they are in fact related. I'm gonna stop there for my own good. It's some reincarnation love story thing, and I don't think I want to talk about it ever again. I might talk about it in a different book video, but not in this one because it's supposed to be a favorites video. The last book I'm going to be talking about is Lettre au Père by Kafka. In Lettre au Père, Kafka talks about his very complicated relationship with his father, and he explains how he was always afraid of his father, even though his father didn't really give him direct reasons to be afraid of him. He was afraid of his father, but his father was never outwardly aggressive towards him. His father was outwardly aggressive towards other people, but he saw that and he was afraid, and he would also always compare himself to his father because his father would frown upon a lot of his choices. The book is like 90 pages max, and I read the first 20 pages and I stopped reading it because I'm a fast reader, but I did not want to go through this book quickly, so I just stopped reading it. If you want to read a dreadful book about complicated parental relationships, you should read Lettre au Père. Moving on to movies. I'm going to be talking about less movies than books because I feel like on books I spent a lot of time talking, so I'm not trying to make this video 40 minutes. I still have to edit. One of my favorites lately that I watched recently is The Dead Poets Society. It was so beautiful. I related to the one character that I shouldn't have related to. I loved it. I loved it so much, and I feel like it had a beautiful way of sending these boys will be boys message, and we could see genuine masculine friendships and male characters that were comfortable in their masculinity while still being awkward teenagers. I would not watch this again for my own sanity, but I think if you're looking for a nice fall movie recommendation, The Dead Poets Society is really good. The last movie I want to talk about that I watched and I cried watching is Lost in Starlight. Lost in Starlight follows these two main characters that obviously fall in love, but it tells a story of their love story and how it intertwines with the female lead's life and a little bit of the male lead's life, but his life is not that important. Okay, she's a big shot in the world that it's set in. Like, she literally had billboards with her face on it because she's an astronaut that does a lot of research for space, and her mother was previously an astronaut, but her mother ended up passing away in space and no one ever really found her body, so her father is still kind of obsessed with trying to find her mother. The female lead is very focused and fixated on going to space, even though it's this very dangerous mission. Kind of messes around with her love life because she doesn't want to be too committed into a relationship, whilst the male lead can be committed to a relationship. In his perspective of life, it's really more turned towards music, and her life is more turned towards space. And when these two worlds meet, even though Miss Astronaut is also interested in music, she's not as passionate when it comes to music as her boyfriend. They kind of show how sometimes having jobs that are different kind of makes you involuntarily minimize what your partner is doing, and I found that they explored this in a very interesting way, and the visuals were so beautiful, like one of the prettiest movies I've seen. And if you want to know why I cried, go watch it because I'm not going to spoil you. Moving on to music, I have been listening to a little bit of everything lately. I discovered Olivia Dean recently, and I really love her song Ladies Room. I feel like it's just something that puts you in a good mood. And I've been listening to Umu Sangare. One of the songs that I've been listening from her a lot is definitely Seiya. One last artist I've been listening to is Sade. One of her songs that I really liked is A Pearl, or just Pearl. I think it's just Pearl, but I think I might buy myself her album. I really like collecting things, and I think vinyls are going to be one of the things that I start collecting. Speaking of collections, let's move on to lifestyle favorites. One of my lifestyle favorites recently has been perfumes. I don't even know if it's really the scent that draws me towards perfumes or if it's really the shape of the bottles. I will literally be the girl that will buy a perfume bottle just because it's in the shape of a bow without even liking the smell. Next thing that I really like, but I've always liked, is Legos. I've been meaning to get myself the Lego Lamborghini Countach as well as the Lego Bamboo. Next thing that I still love to this day are Smiskies. The first ever Smisky I got was this one. This has been one of my favorites for a while. His name is Sam. I named him Sam, and I actually named all of my Smiskies. Next, I have this one, and I named him Vivi because this is supposed to be Velasquez. I think I got this one next. I forgot her name. This one, this is from the workout series, and I named him Calimero. He's really sweet. I don't know why, they just make me so happy. And I have this last one that I called Anna. I'm going to expand my collection no matter what it takes. And the last favorite that I wanted to talk about is Miffy and Snoopy. The Snoopy obsession is recent, but the Miffy obsession has been going on for a while. I own a few things Miffy, and I just love this character so much. I have my little pocket mirror that is Miffy. It's like this wooden pocket mirror. There's a Miffy engravement in the back. I don't have any more things to talk about, and I'm really excited for this fall. I have a little wish list. I might make a wish list video. Not sure, because the sit-down videos take time to film and edit, but I might. You never know. That is it for today's video. Make sure to comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. Make sure to like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and as always, I wish you guys an amazing week, and I'll see you guys soon. Sunshine.